long time no see. I'm back to share some records with you. I've been prodded several times by many people to make a video again. So here I am. A couple of things. You may notice I have changed the channel name to Record Bug. That is to align the rest of my internet presence, which is a Discogs store, a eBay store, my Instagram account, and now my YouTube channel. So they'll all be Record Bug. So there's that. Also, I was asked last time to make a slightly longer video, so I will be doing that as well. I think I have about a dozen records and a couple other things to share with you this time. So anyway, it's good to be back. Bright sunny morning here in the greater Boston area. First up, music of Harry Partch. This is a compilation from the 60s, and I enjoyed this one. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as, I think it's called The World of Harry Partch on Columbia Master disc. This is Composer's Recordings. Anyway, this one is good, but I don't like it as much as the Columbia Masterworks one. I just feel like it's not as thought out. And I feel like that other record is a more cohesive thing, whereas this feels like some jumbled tracks put together. Next, Moondog. This one I really like. This is all instrumental tracks. Musical Heritage Society. This one is sparse and beautiful, and if you're familiar with actually his recording on Columbia, also Masterworks. Wow. If you're familiar with his recording on Columbia Masterworks, you will like it, you will like this one as well. I think this is a little harder to find, and this is such a nice copy too. Very happy to have this one on the shelves. What's next? Mikey Dread at the control. Famous DJ and producer from Jamaica. This is a classic record, dubwise, on his own label. Michael Campbell Productions. Not much to say about this one, just a fabulous dub record. Not in the same vein as like King Tubby and Scientist and stuff like that. It has more of like a poppy kind of feel to it, but it does have his classic little jingle things attached to the front and back of some of the tracks on this record. Just a great record. A fun listen. Nice. Oh, so many wonderful things to share with you. Danger Doom. I absolutely love this record, and I listen to it a lot. Danger Mouse and Dr. Doom get together, and I don't think there's really anything fun to share on here. 2005 recording. I think the part that is so wonderful about this record for me is all the spoken word that's intermingled with the music, which is it's all these characters from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't know, is that right? Crapola, Adult Swim. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I was correct. I was correct. Anyway, this is just a fun, happy record. It's silly, and just really well done. There you go, Danger Doom. Classic record. I think it's being reissued because it's having some kind of anniversary. So there's that. Then there's this weirdo record. It's Mother Number 9. and I don't know much about this record. Some things I can share. It's a poetry record, and there is an Allen Ginsberg track on here, so I guess it's not much to see here. So I guess it's you know, pretty special as far as that goes. It came with a little booklet. I would assume it'd be like a San Francisco thing, but then there's a New York address on here, and then it just breaks down all the poets on here. The record looks very clean, but it plays kind of crackly. That may just be because it's not the greatest pressing, you know, private press. Or maybe it's throttled and I can't really see. But the recordings themselves are very rough. This, you know, this is beyond field recording. It's I would say this is a document of these poets doing their thing. Anyway, this is a fun listen. I was listening to it late one evening after my family went to bed. Oh, so many good records to share with you. Continuum. Autumn Grass. So, what do I say about this one? This is classical oriented progressive rock. That sounds weird, doesn't it? It's a weird record. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful music. Longer tracks. Again, very classically influenced. Jazz or progressive rock. It took me a while. I've had a couple of copies of this. It took me a while to find this one. This is a really clean copy. I should just fold this out so you can see how beautiful this is. I don't know if this will show up on the whole thing there. I just think that's so handsome. Oh my goodness. This is such a great record. This is also a good late night listen. It's so good. You can look it up on the internet. On YouTube, it's got the whole record. Next up, Satima B. Benjamin, with Kenny Barron, Buster Williams, and Billy Higgins. This record is amazeballs. It's vocal jazz, but I would also describe it as spiritual jazz. Recorded by Rudy Van Gelder at his home in New Jersey. Or maybe his studio. I guess his studio in New Jersey. There's the back cover for you all. It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. She does a couple of standard jazz songs and some originals, and it's a very moving record. It didn't take me long to get into this one at all. Sometimes you have to listen to things a few times for them to sink in, but this one I clicked with right away. Abdullah Ibrahim, this is his partner. She passed away a couple of years ago. But this is just it's really well recorded. Her voice is just spot on throughout the whole recording. And again, very spiritual in my humble opinion. Just a great record. There is a reissue of this that doesn't have this sort of homemade cover. It's got a design on it, the thing that looks like a pyramid that can be had for short money. There's also a guy on Discogs and eBay selling sealed copies of this for about $25. And this is one of those. And it's tops. It's flat. It sounds wonderful. Satima B. Benjamin Wind Song. I need to take a sip of coffee for this one. I am obsessed with this record. The Parasites of the Western World. There's the label. This is a private press record out of New Jersey, and This record is going to be difficult for me to describe. It's electronic indie rock from the late 70s. I feel like 90s rock owes this record a lot. But it's weird because most people have probably never heard this record. It's a home recorded electronic based rock weirdness. And if that's your thing, hunt this record down. This is an original copy, but these guys have also reissued this. Comes with like a insert thing, and then there's a little poster thing in here. Because I'm obsessed with this record, I tracked down an original, but I also have it electronically, and I would have been just as happy with the reissue. Again, this is such a unique record, and don't let the first track put you off either. The first track is like this heavily manipulated vocal weird thing that sounds like some of the more weirder Ween things, but then it changes as the record goes on, and it's just wonderful. Anyway, Parasites of the Western World. I highly recommend this one. I'm obsessed with this record. Dorothy Carter, Whaley Whaley. This is it's either her first or second record. I have another one over there in the boxes. Local connection to Cambridge. This is a folk record. There's the label. Yep, this is a folk record, but it's a little bit different. It's not she plays the dulcimer, so it's not your standard guitar folk, and the compositions are really complicated and deep. And my favorite part of this one is Bob Rutman doing steel cello. It is a compliment to her playing, and it is a deep, dark, and delicious sound. Steel cello. It almost adds like this dark industrial quality to the tracks that he's on. And I've made it a point to try to track down some of his stuff as well, because the sound is, it just hits you right there. Anyway, Whaley Whaley, Dorothy Carter. This is a fantastic record. I guess it would be similar to some of the other things I've been showing, sort of just private press weirdness. It's a great record. What do we got next? Actually, what we got next is another sip of coffee. Okay. So, Bill Staines, The Whistle of the Jay. This is Folk Legacy Records. I know some people collect these. This is a cheap record to find. I mean, it's like $5 or less, and it's just so good. Comes with like a little booklet, like the rest of the releases do. The folk country, just it's simple. There's some yodely stuff on here, some nice country yodels. I love this record. Every time I see it, I pick it up and give it to somebody, because it's very charming, and it's just a good record. I mean, we can't all listen to crazy. Well, maybe we can. We shouldn't always listen to crazy, weird jazz and progressive rock and stuff like that. Sometimes we need to fill in the gaps, and this is a great record for that. Bill Staines, and I mean, look at the cover. That's what made me pick it up in the first place, was that strong imagery. Anyway, this is a fantastic one, and it's very affordable. If you see it, I recommend picking it up. It's a great record. And I've been wanting after this for a while. The Muffins, DC band, jazz rock. This is a incredible record. Cool label too. Well, now I'm looking at the cover. It's a little freaky. The cover makes this seem darker than it is. This is their debut record. I'm not familiar with the later stuff. I know this record really well, and it's just so well done. Really great jazz rock. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this one. If you're into, it's not free. It's not easy listening though. Check this out. Go on to the internets and check this one out. I don't think this has been reissued, and it's not an easy one to track down. Yeah, Muffins. One more record. So, Alice Coltrane has a new recording coming out on Luaka Bop, which is like David Byrne's label. It's a compilation of cassette recordings from the period in her life where she was doing a lot of Eastern philosophy stuff. So it would be like, like the late 70s and through the 80s. I'm very excited for that record to come out, and so I've been listening to a couple of Alice Coltrane things, and this one's pretty special. I'm gonna have to read this one because it's kind of complicated. Radhakrishna Nama Sankirtana. It's a mouthful. This is a test pressing copy of this, so again, this is a little on the special side. Doesn't give you much there, but again, I busted this out just to sort of get myself pumped up for that record, which comes out I think tomorrow. So I wanted to order it off the internet, but the shipping was kind of expensive, so I'm hoping that record will show up in my local shop. This one, strangely, I found this in a shop and it was like $8 or something like that, and it cleaned up. The record is like stunningly mint, even though the jacket looks a little played out. Just a great recording, very Eastern music influenced. Yeah, and obviously the track 2 there, that long track, is the money on this one. But anyway, yeah, check out the new record too. I imagine it's going to be pretty amazing. So I also picked this piece of weirdness up, Negative Land's latest release, and when you ordered this online from the good fellows at Negative Land, there was also a I don't know what you call this, a bonus include with this. They've lost a bunch of members of their collective in the past couple of years. The latest one being Don Joyce, who he basically did like the longest running freeform radio show in the country, as far as I know. And when he passed away, he was cremated, and Negative Land gives you, when you purchased the CD, a little bit of his remains with the CD. This horrified my wife. I thought it was actually pretty brilliant. So there you go. A little bit of Don Joyce to go with the Negative Land release, The Chopping Channel. This is very Negative Land if you know the band. And lastly, I picked up another Jazz Next Standard book. I shared one a couple videos ago, last video, I don't know, it's been a while, but I picked this one up, Spiritual Jazz. There's a lot of overlap with this one and the last one, but there's also some new stuff as well. In case you're not familiar, these books are all in Japanese. So unless you know Japanese, you can't read the copy. But there's lots of pictures. You know, there's focus on specific artists and stuff like that. But it shows you some. It's a good way to do research. So there you go. These are good little books to pick up. My other copy is really dog-eared from me flipping through it. Yeah, so that's it. I've busted through some records. Hopefully I've shared some things that you may not know, and now I've turned you on to something groovy. Yeah. It's unfortunate that I can't get my act together to put a shorter window between videos, but that's the way it is. Yeah, I'll put a link down below so you can check out my Instagram, The Record Bug, and I'll put a link to my Discogs store. If you like the music that I share, I sell some stuff there too that's right in this vein. So yeah. Anyway, it's good to chat with you guys again. Hope you liked the longer video, and I'll see you on the flip side.